giving this another go because apparently it was goofing it up earlier. So I am recording this for posterity on just how long it takes me to set this up from the Google Sites perspective. So far all I've done is just add in my title here and given a name to my site, which students can change anytime. So first things first, let's go ahead and add our pages. You go to pages down here and you can click the plus sign. We're going to need an about me page. We're going to need a projects page. Oops, probably not going to call it page. We're going to want space for reflections. So pretty easy peasy. I'm going to go back to my home page here just so I can start setting up my home page. Some of the fun things that we can look at too is there are some very simple theming options. So I'm going to just pick one. Let's see. Let's go with green. No, let's go with maroon. It's more ASU. And then I'm going to go back to insert to just begin setting up my homepage of my portfolio. To begin, I just click text and a text box will appear. So I'm going to say, welcome to my ENG 101 portfolio. Just say add description. Welcome to your portfolio. So something very simple there. As you can see here, we could also select a background, make it different. Very nice. And then to go to, I can either click on reflections itself. Don't like how that turned out. So make that a little bit bigger. You can just kind of use this to, very intuitive, can kind of just drag that. If I wanted to offset it somewhere else, I could put my reflection, my title there. Just kind of drag it. I think I like it more centered. So let's see, text box. Here is where, oops. Here's where you post your reflections. I'm not sure how deep we want to get into this, and of course I think that once we have an opportunity to get into what the components of the portfolio are going to look like, we can obviously change some of this. This is just kind of the purpose of this here and setting this one up is more or less to just see how easy it is to share our documents or share our template with students and have our students be able to copy that to use for their own template. This also just kind of shows just how easy it is for students to set it up. So even if we absolutely have to just kind of let them run wild and free, that it's not very difficult for them to get at it. For the sake of this as well, I'm also just going to demonstrate how we can add items from a Google Drive. So you just go to Drive section here. Let me find something, go to shared drive, or sorry, shared with me rather. And I am just going to find some documents from our Writer Studio just to share it and just to kind of drop this in there. So I'm just going to drag, I guess I don't drag it, I guess I click it and then I'm going to insert it here. And so this is what it looks like if a student were to do a Google Doc, add another text box. I'm going to drag it up here. Oops. Drag it better. One more time. Too far. Change the color. Below is an example of a Google Doc. Help if I could spell. Below is an example of typing a reflection. And then for the sake of accessibility, I'm going to make this a heading. Make the next thing normal text. I'm actually going to pause the recording real quick while I just make something up here. So in the meantime, I've gone ahead and just created a little not very serious pre-course reflection here. Not sure if this is going to end up lining up with what we're looking for long term, but it's just something there. And then for projects, we can pretty much do the same thing. I'm just going to put, here's where you will showcase your projects. And then let's go ahead and go to the About Me page where we can go ahead and use some of this layout feature here to add an image. So let's find an image. I guess we'll just pick one. So that's just where you could do that. And then actually, if I go back to projects just to kind of showcase some other things that we can do here, or even actually let's go to the home page, this might be better. I'm going to go ahead and just show how easy it is for us to go ahead and add some buttons. I'm going to call this button page the About Me, and I'm going to have it linked to my About Me page. Let's insert it there. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. Let's go to, we actually have a placeholder. So as you can see here too, there's a lot of other things that our students can use. They can directly grab something from YouTube, create these buttons, create image carousels, collapsible text. We can even put in placeholders. I'm actually gonna try that here in a second. I wanna finish creating these buttons first. Let's say projects, and I want this to link to my projects section, my projects page. And if I don't like the buttons kind of stacking below each other like that, so let's see what we can do here. And then we have one more for reflections. Reflections. Let's make sure it's big enough. So it's, I can literally just drag these buttons up here. So now if I want them a little more centered, I'm just gonna drag them and center them over. And then let's go back to my projects page, and I'm actually just gonna put in a placeholder. Who knows what it will be? Oh, and it lets you actually, gives you a bunch of options there. Trying to see what other interesting things we can put in here. Let's throw in a Google slide. Let's see. Let's try this one. I think this one is open for public viewing. If I want to make it bigger, just drag that. Let's find a YouTube video. I think that's what it's called. Oops, no. Do I have any uploaded? Oh, here we go. This looks old, but we'll use it. So it's just kind of a quick overview of how to create these. It's very easy. I didn't do a lot of bells and whistles, but as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. All they got to do is kind of drag and click, and then you can drag and drop to edit these things. Like if I want this to be bigger, just show the whole page. I can do that. And then it's very easy for students when they're here to go ahead and click preview. You've got to see how this works. We'll click on over to my About Me page, go to my reflections. You can see what this Google Doc looks like once it's embedded. It's an example of a text box entry. Personally, if we're making this, I personally think that just writing it directly in there versus embedding a Google Doc looks better, but that's just me. And if we go over to projects, so this is that placeholder piece, so it's just kind of an empty box that we can't click on right now. Here is what my Google slide looks like when it's been inputted, or input rather. You can actually use the arrow keys to kind of click through this there, and if we scroll down, we can see the video here. Hi, and welcome to my portfolio. My name is Elizabeth. So you can kind of see what that looks like. It turns out that this is actually from my portfolio from my master's program, so it's an old but fun video, and then we can, what's kind of nice about this too is you can see what it looks like on a phone, what it looks like in like a tablet view, computer view, and then we just exit out of it. And then in terms of share settings, so we've got share with others here. So I am not going to share this. Let's see. No, I'm going to share this with the group. So I'm going to share this with Carol, Zach, and Tammy. I am going to make, this is where I'm kind of getting stuck. Published viewer means that you guys will be able to see it only if it's published, or as editor means that you guys will actually be able to come in here and edit. I'm trying to see how I can make this a template. I'm going to pause this again real quick to do some research. So I had just paused the recording so I could do a little bit of research, a little bit more in-depth research on how to actually share this with students and get some advice from good old YouTube. What this YouTube site recommends, and I'm actually going to post this and share this with the group as well so I don't have to go through it entirely here, is it says that we would go ahead and make the draft to anyone with the link. And what we'll end up doing is we'll share the link with students, and then students will be able to open this exact thing, and they would come up here and do duplicate site, and they would say, you know, let's just say this is Zach's portfolio, and that's how you would create the duplicate, and the student's going to go ahead and edit their portfolio. So what we might end up wanting to do for the portfolio assignment, if we do go this route, is make a quick video like this, something a little bit more professional than what I'm doing here, and actually walk students through how to do that. The good news is that even if a student tries to edit the actual this here, it is just the template, so we could always just duplicate the site and send it back to the student and then fix it. It's the only thing that I think we would be worried about there. I think if I'm doing some additional research because this is actually called the new Google Sites. You can go back to Google Sites Classic, I believe. I'm not positive. But there used to be a way, or we might be able to set this up in Google Classic instead of Google Sites New. But we can kind of talk about that a little bit more in our next meeting if that's what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and end this recording here, and I will also share the additional video that I found that walked me through on setting up a Google Sites template to share to students. And in our next meeting, we can talk about what we want that template to look like should we go with this option. Thank you.